Hi, I'm Giovanni from Alembic, the creative drinks agency that specializes in design, development and marketing of quality drinks education and beverage experiences. Alembic and ICCA Dubai together brings to you cocktailzero, the art of alcohol-free design drinks. Our certificate programs in dry mixology and bartending showmanship are designed not only for inspiring bar professionals working in the industry, but also for the serious enthusiasts interested in learning the art of mixology. Come, introduce yourself to the fascinating and soul-stirring world of alcohol-free designer drinks.
Good afternoon from the warm Dubai. A very good morning and good evening to all the viewers who are joining us from various parts of the world. Welcome to ICCA Live, World-Class Culinary Online. Today, we have yet another session on dry mixology and bartending, the art of selecting the right glassware. I would now like to hand over to Ms. Shanaz, Course Director at the ICCA Dubai.
Thank you, Karun. Hello, everyone. I'm Shanaz Raja, the Director of Courses here at the International Center for Culinary Arts in Dubai. This is our third webinar in the series, Dry Mixology and Bartending. The first one was on tools of the trade, the second on methods and techniques, and today it is about choosing the right glassware for the right drink. If you have not attended the earlier webinars, you can view them on YouTube. Those who attend all the webinars will receive an e-certificate. This session is all about learning, and hence we will have a few polls to test your understanding, so do watch carefully. Should you have any questions during the session, please type them into the chat and I will take them up with Mr. G for you. Should you have any, for those of you who are with us for the first time, I will give you a very short introduction on Mr. G. Giovanni Depergola is a master mixologist and educator with over 20 years of experience in concept design, bar and menu development, and training in the bartending industry across the globe. Now, without taking much of your time, over to you, Mr. G.
Hey, excellent. Thank you very much, Karun. Thank you very much, Shanaz. That was a great introduction. And thank you for you guys actually that join us today for our third episode. So as we mentioned, today is all about glassware. Definitely one of my favorite topics. We covered before the tools of the trade, and then we discussed about method and technique in our last episode, where we really saw how we can really implement our technique into some of the cocktails that we love to make on a daily basis. So today is all about glassware. Why is one of my favorite topics? Is because, well, bartenders like chefs, they like to showcase what we have in front. So our cocktail deserve a good, really vessel where we actually have a beautiful. So the feeling, the look, are you gonna the finished product? So really has all the details. Like a good chef, when they plating their dish, they really need to see all those kind of, so contrast on colors is very important. So everything for them really works, and exactly for us. Now tell me, glass is not something new. It's something that we're really discovering today, and we appreciate it more and more as a vessel, so we can really enjoy our cocktail. But glass, really, it goes back so long ago. Imagine that a glass was discovered through the ancient time of the Egyptian and Mesopotamia, which is pretty much Iran, Iraq as it is now. So what had that mean? That here in Middle East is so really important, the usage of the glassware, and it has so much tradition. So it's very interesting that the Gachi glass, it was discovered by mistake, by accident. So what happened at the time? The guys, they probably do some bonfire there, and they saw that the sand, which is the ingredient to actually we need to make a glass, it was melting, because that's what it is. If you really heats up the sand so high, then it starts melting. And this is what was discovered. Then there's a beautiful history. Here at the ICCA, through our courses, the guys, when they come, they enjoy. the full journey that we talk about. So because we love the history, with the history, we can go and appreciate more what we have today. So in terms of the evolution of the glass, so at the time, of course, there was a first century BC when a gentleman, a worker, it was an Assyrian Palestinian that actually discovered the actually blowing technique. And this was a huge game changer for the entire really glass discovery at the time, because then people understanding how to shape everything. So then the Romans came through, and the Romans, they took all over, and they brought all this technique. They were using actually as a vessel, but they also introduced glass that we see now today in the architecture. We live here in Dubai. We have beautiful, skyscraper we can see. So that was all done through the Romans' time, when they really introduced the glass into the architecture. So very, very fascinating. Then, of course, we have the Venetians. They brought all these beautiful, the Murano, still nowadays, one of the most fascinating, where people go and see all those techniques. So really, nowadays, what we actually discovering is pretty much something that has been going to the time. And we're very pleased that as a bartender, when the guys are coming to school, to showcase the range of different glassware that you need to make the perfect cocktail. That's why the episode today, we say, choose the right glass for your cocktail, because it's so important that we get that really in place. Now, a glass can be pretty much is a glass, or it can be a crystal. So we have a full range here. This one is pretty much a beautiful, handmade, completely nice, hand cut, and you can see the details, and it's a crystal. Now, crystal was something that was not created immediately, something that came really afterwards, probably around the 16th century. So it was actually discovered by the books. They will say that it was discovered in England. Also, Italy has a great tradition on the cristallo. So the crystal is something that, why people love it, it's completely different. The sound of the crystal is different than the glass. So the feeling is different. So what we see here is something that really, really, for us, the glassware is about feeling, is when you touch something. And here what we have is the range I will show you today is it's going to be about when we're designing a cocktail, what we want actually out of that. So it's about the feeling, it's about the look actually of the cocktail. We saw last week techniques on how to do layers when we're shaking, about the foaming, but also we have carbonations, and then we have still juices. So all those different, they really go in different glassware. So let's start with this one. So our first two here are pretty much, those are dedicated to fizzy. So those are 100% fizzy cocktails. So why? Because normally carbonation, the bubble will go all the way up. So it really helps. And in this case, we have the guys, they really design a bit of different here. One is a bit more wild here, a bit bigger. And this one is a bit narrow. So why is that? Because these are a bit too different. So imagine we want to serve our favorite carbonated, maybe our carbonated, I will say, energy drink if we want to. So we're just gonna put some ice, and this one, it will hold very well. There we go. So why we like this glass is really that is the fact of the perlage that it stays. So really we can clearly see all the bubble goes. If the glass will be much more wilder, all the bubble will go away. So that's why we don't really want it. And this is how it really looks like. So beautiful, nice see-through. So this is what we really wanted. And I will have a sip, why not? Oh, yes. This is something that we really like it. Why? It's because the filling. Now, the rim of the glass is very important when we're really going for a good cocktail. We want to have that feeling. One is the touch that we have in our hands. So actually the weight of the cocktail, the weight of the glass is really give us that the emotional. And then you will find the rim. So this is why a good drink should be served in a glass like this, because you have a good rim and the lips will actually sit on it. So really interesting. So when you choose your glass, not only really based on what can be. So this is another example of a carbonation. And this is, we can see, You see how the bubble go all the way. Look at that. Beautiful. So really, really stays there. And it really holds very much. So this is a great example of to do it. And this is a good way also, if we have to, imagine we're going to garnish this one. So what we have, probably, let's say, maybe we go for a lemon wheel like this, and then you will see that it's so easy as a see-through. So really, and a perfect example of what a good fizz glass should be. And let's have a try. Let's see. Nice, nice. So the filling of the bubble is super interesting. So what we have now, let me remove this. This is now we talk about one of definitely my favorite style of a glass, because I really like my cocktail quite short and intense. So you really, when you go for a rocks glass like this, or maybe called normally often they call old fashioned, recalling then actually the famous cocktail. So what they do in the rocks glass, they serve, normally you can serve them a neat. We probably have yes, I have a small version of this one. I've got them here. You see, I've got two sizes. So what the guys they did, they actually did one which you normally serve neat. So something like probably just a juice, or probably could be just your favorite spirits can go inside. And then this one is much more 100% for on the rock, served really with the foaming, maybe if you want, as we saw last time. So what we do, I would like to show you, and this one has so two different styles, same actually glass. So rocks glass, exactly the same. But what is this? One is a crystal, one is a glass. So pretty much the same purpose. It's all a matter of your preferences, how you really like it to be served. So let me show you this. And in this case, I really would like to show you the finished product, and I will make, yes, why not? Let's make a good, nice cocktail zero recipe, because I know you guys always tune in to actually see a few recipes. And this one is, you know, we had a few nice categories that we're going to see together in the next episode. And what we're showcasing here, this is a cool, nice, I will say outdoor. And we have the apricot. Then I've got a 10 milliliter of the lemon juice. And then is this. So as I was saying, the glass is so fascinating the way it is, because really the chef, they always go and showcasing themselves to when they actually plated the dish, which is extremely important and is so nice. So for us, is exactly the same way. So a glass really makes the cocktail standing. So really, when we go to a bar or a restaurant, we always look the cutlery, the plate, and the glass, you know, is something that we really pay attention, because it's a lot of people, and people have different style, even at home or if you're in your private bar. So quick shake on this. There we go. Now this is a good, nice looking glass, because also the rim, if you put this against the light, you will see the difference has a great reflection at the bottom. So I know maybe this sounds very gimmick for some people, but I tell you, when we look into cocktail details and the same, that garnish, that really it needs to have. And we always look to that because it's extremely important to really highlight this fact. So now that we have this is done, yeah, I think we should put a garnish. What do you think? I should put a garnish there. So let's see, before I had my, before we had the lemon, I will put maybe a nice lime, like this. A lime wheel at this stage. I know a lot of people, those are easy garnish for people to do also at home, you see? So super simple, something like this will work. This is a good rim and will stand. Let me try. Ooh, nice. Apricot, passion fruit, lemon, superb. So as we mentioned, the filling is very important when we're making a good cocktail in this particular glass. Now, let me go and tell about this little glass here, which many people don't really probably use often. And the reason is because this glass actually we are using for tasting. So what we do, either for your favorite spirits, or if we have to do like a good carbonations, or when we do tasting here at the school, this is what we're using. So really, because it's quite bold there and narrow here. So what is that? Is the perfect nosing glass, so spirits glass. So this is what we normally do. So really an excellent, even water you can taste on this. Try. We'll have a session next time. Let's see. So what is happening here? Now I left all these lines with the stem because we started with the glasses without the stem, and then we're moving into something with the stem. So what you see here, those are very similar, but will give us a different experience. This is the classic martini. So what is that? A martini is actually a classic cocktail, but in this case, what we'll do, we're serving here a cocktail that made with I will say with fresh juices or even Tetra Pak juice with some puree, with some fresh fruits. So they all have the same. Normally, we don't tend to put a carbonation here, even though this is a martini. This is actually the guys from Riddle. They did a quite unique style. This is called a Nick and Nora. So it's specific to that. They're all the same. We call them the straight up. So we don't serve this with ice, but we serve this without ice. So what's happening here? Exactly the same purpose, but with a different design. So this is a beautiful martini, quite wild. So why we don't serve carbonation? Because we need the fizzy to stay narrow as we saw before. So this is the one. This is a bit more, really a bit more smaller, but then also narrow here. So it's quite interesting, quite really cool when you serve a very chilled cocktail that you will go there. Very interesting. And then we have this, which is the coupe. Now, many people, we probably see this is in a lot of I will say Hollywood movies, when the guys, they drink in a bath, a nice champagne and all this, but this is not really appropriate for the champagne, even if many people do that. Appreciation and the serving is two different things. So when you are at home or in your bar, drinking for yourself, that's something that is very personal. But we're really coming across to serving the guests by the expert. They really recommend, if you want to do something like carbonation or sparkling wine or champagne, then we go into something like this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is, this is what I'm talking about. So a product like this, we're using here at the school, a great 00, so no alcohol for us. And then you serve on this. So this is what we call a champagne flute. So super, super easy. Now, another one, which we also use here at the school, is called a wine glass, which is this one. Normally also we can be used as a carbonation. So in this case, we like to put some fruits inside. So we put the fruits, we put the ice of fruits, and then also can hold the carbonation. So it's good for the wine, but it's also good for some sparkling, could be a sparkling water, so or could be your favorite sparkling, pretty much soft drink. So I will demonstrate to see how really is holding very well the carbonation, because the way it's designed really does very well. And you can see one, there we go. Let me see what we have here. You can see really, really cool, because it gives us a very nice window on top. So it's a good serving, size. So this is with ice, will give us 180, pretty much 200 milliliter. So it's very useful for a bartender to work behind the bar and allow us to see. So here we can actually serve some very cool, interesting color of a cocktail. So imagine we will drop some fruits inside, will look fantastic. So let me try. Nice. What I like about this glass is the fact that we can capture a lot more of the aroma, which you don't get when you do on the fizzy, nice straight. So it's a bit of different there. Very interesting. Okay, so I think we have some pretty cool stuff here. And the fizzy one is gone. So I'm gonna have pretty much, I'm gonna leave whatever we going to make it. I've got one more glass, which is this one. This is for our cocktail today. I will have one and I will have two. So these two will say goodbye. Now, Shanaz, I think we have the poll for our friends at home, yeah?
I'm just putting it on, Giovanni. Here we go.
Here you go. I remember we discussed to ask a few questions because I'm sure you guys paid attention. So let's see.
So the question is, which of the three glasses is used to serve a straight up cocktail? A rock or old-fashioned glass, a coupe or martini, a highball or tumbler?
So it's three options then.
Yes, three options: rock or old-fashioned, coupe or martini.
So rock and old-fashioned. So this is the rock and old-fashioned. Then which one is the second?
The coupe or martini.
The coupe of the martini, the one we say goodbye now. So it could be this is a classic martini. Eh?
And yes, the highball or tumbler.
Oh, highball and tumbler, this one. Okay, good. So which one is it? Eh?
The audience, 41% have chosen highball and 33% have chosen the old-fashioned and 25% the martini. So I think you really need to tell them because they're not very sure.
Okay. Here is what. So let's recap on this. I knew this was coming because when we are talking about glassware, it's always really interesting because it's very easy to get lost. I mean, we started with a beautiful selection. So we mentioned a rocks glass, and then I will pick here those three glasses. They normally we serve in a straight up. What does it mean? We serve without ice. So, and then we have an highball like this or tumbler that normally we serve fizzy cocktails normally, and you'll see. So the correct glass that we do straight up is one of the three. So normally it's called coupe or martini. So this is actually the two glasses that we normally serve. Now, as mentioned, they come in a different probably shape, but normally this is what is it. It's a straight up, is served in one of those glasses. So simple as it is. This one goes on the rocks, so old fashioned. On the rocks mean goes with the rocks, with ice. And this is the fizzy. So Shanaz, I think we clarify now for the audience that those are the correct glasses for the actually straight up cocktails, yeah?
So do you want us to go with the second poll, Giovanni, now?
Yes, I think, Shanaz, that's a great idea. So let's see how really everyone is pay attention, or really if I was actually clear enough. So let's put that way.
Okay, so here you got almost like 50-50, almost. Okay, never mind. The question is, when serving a carbonated cocktail, which glass is most appropriate? I remember you spent a lot of time telling them this answer, and they've got this one. Okay, so 69% say the highball, 28% say the flute, and 7% the coupe.
Okay. Now, this is good. So majority of people say the tumbler, the fizzy glass, that's what is it. Now, for the people that they mentioned the flute is something that sometimes it can be misunderstood or is easy to get confused. What we mentioned about the champagne flute, that normally you serve a carbonated, so a sparkling wine or a classic champagne flute. So what does it mean? That normally we will probably serve some of the cocktail, but if we have to go in details, then we don't serve that with ice. So that carbonation. But when we refer to carbonated cocktail, we refer to actually to the tumbler. So this is what we need to always remember. Yeah. So that's pretty much our poll. So this is good. It's good. I like when people really participating, and then we have some clarify of the doubts, because that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Yes, we do have a few questions. Swapnali wants to know, are the same type of drinks served in a crystal and an old-fashioned or rock glass? Can we serve the same kind of drink in a crystal glass or a old-fashioned rock glass? In fact, this is a very good question.
I like that. I like that. So let me take the glass. So this is a beautiful crystal glass, and then I also have this is another beautiful piece of glass. So the difference is pretty much we can serve exact the same cocktail in both glass. What you really change is really sometimes is really the feeling. One is the weight. This glass is extremely really heavy. I mean, it's probably was like 4 or 5 times the weight of this glass. Now, and this is a really good glass because it's all cutted around, so very nice design. Now we can serve the same cocktail in a crystal glass. What we need to remember is that sometimes crystal is misunderstanding the fact that it could be very light and fragile. So that's a style of a crystal. So there is a crystal which is very light. So I will say that a cocktail could be the same. The only thing is probably if we look that into a bar operation, a very light, fragile crystal is not very suitable for a large operation. So you can serve that cocktail the same, but probably it could be a risky. So in this case, you probably need a good glass. And then this one, because this is one, it's not gonna break that easy. Well, like this, and also because many of the cocktails can be served in a crystal and glass. Is all about the feeling. Now, I'm a big fan of a beautiful glassware and crystal, and then I like to have a good feeling when I'm drinking certain cocktails and everything. I definitely don't dislike because this is a really narrow, it's quite large, so it gives me a good feeling to have something. So there is not really a yes or no answer here. Which one is really up to you. It's what do you want to get out of that feeling? Yeah.
So Anisha would like to know in which glass would be the best to serve iced tea in?
Iced tea. Okay, that's good. I like that question. Well, you see, an iced tea is pretty much a still juice. Now, many people, if we go in general, we go around and we see iced tea are served in a long glass. Now, the sizes of a tumbler and actually the rocks glass is very similar. Now, what's happening there? Why we normally serve in a long glass the iced tea is the fact that sometimes we would like to have some fruits inside. Maybe we want to have a couple of slices of a peach or lemon or maybe a few mint leaves. So really give us a much more space to look. Now, even we say this is a good glass to serve carbonated cocktail. We have a different one, which is the one I showed before, which is a bit wilder. So this could be a good one for the still juices or a classic iced tea, because you can put, and also because if we look into business operator, sometimes people like to tend to serve in a tall glass, to give you the feeling that I'll give you a big glass. So really is that feeling. But sometimes the size of the rocks and the highball is exactly the same. So they'll go around 300 to 350 milliliter of capacity. So to answer the question, iced tea is good to be served in the rocks glass, but also if you really enjoy, it's all about also the feeling. So you can actually have this one. If you want to drink with a straw or without, then you can just put inside. That's very simple. Yeah.
I know that you spoke about this before, but Sai Kiran wants to know which glass is good to serve soft drinks with iced tea and without ice. I mean, with ice and without ice. Which glass to use?
Okay, well, I think we're connecting with this in terms of the ice or without ice. Probably if you want to go without ice, you can probably serve in this one. And then if you go with ice, you can serve in this one. So that will be probably the way you want to go. So that is entire up to you. But I just want to say, Shanaz, if you allow me, I want to bring this. You see, this one is actually, this is a vase at the end of the day. My message today to you that are watching us, what we're giving to our students is the message that we need to really use our creativity when we go around the glass. As they did in the past, the guys that used to have vessels and this, no one really thought about to use a glass to drink, or they were using as a vessel to even to decorating tables. And this is a base. But if I'm removing this one, and I'll put a straw here, and pretty much I will put your iced tea. Yeah, there you go. So this is, no one will stop me to drink from here. So this is pretty much a vase that it became a glass, and it's super funky. Love it. So what I want you guys to really remember is to be creative, especially when we're designing cocktails. So when we do this at the school here, we want the guys to really think out of the box and not really stick to the rules that are we really going to have it. So we can be very creative and very much into that diversity of what we have around. So this is something that for people like iced tea, there we go. This could be a good glass for you for iced tea. Did you like that, Shanaz?
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Giovanni. I think we go on to seeing your recipes now.
Fantastic. Okay. And let me know if you have more questions. We are always very happy to answer and to talking about everything. So, well, the two cocktails we have today is, I think we can see on the graphic in a minute, we have a recipe for you guys to see. And so pretty much one will be showcasing the fizzy glass. So which is not this one, but it's actually this one. And this is the fizzy glass. So we're showcasing in a carbonation. And the other one is pretty much a straight up cocktail. So we're going to see how we actually doing those two. Now, let me grab this. I will put this one here for a minute. And can we see the actual recipe there somewhere? Let me see if I can see on my screen there. I would like to share that, but maybe it's not there. It doesn't matter if it comes up, maybe. So, we have it. There we go. Excellent. So what we do here, let me put this one there so it's not disturbing. So this one is a very cool cocktail. So what we have here, it's a gin and tonic at the end of the day. So this is what is it. But here we have something really unique to show you. So as you can see, it says cedar. So cedar's gin. Now we have some no-alcoholic gin in the market. Very interesting. Then we have some fresh lime juice. And then we use some droplets of some bitters. In this case, we're using rosemary. And then we're going to top up with one of my favorite tonic water style, which is Fior di Sambuco. Is actually an elderflower. So we play with this flavor. So let me grab the product. So this is the cedar, but also we have this one. We love our back bar here because we have everything. So in this case, we have, this is the two very similar, different. Those are no alcoholic gin. Someone never thought about probably this to think 10 years ago, but this is what we have today. Those are fantastic, great. One made in Sweden, one made in UK. So very different, very citrus in this case for this one. Today we showcase this. So really nice. And the way we do is super simple. We will use our mixing glass. And at this stage, you guys know what exactly we are talking about when we say mixing glass. And I will. Now, those botanicals will match very well. So a good 50 milliliter. Et voila. And then we're going to have this very interesting product, which is the rosemary bitter. Now, when we talk about no-alcoholic gin and we talk about this kind of style, we want to give to our guests something like really botanicals and something really fresh, so really works. So what we do, we have the gin already, then we have 5 droplets of rosemary. Now, rosemary, very aromatic, quite oily, very oily. So really works together with this kind of style of a cocktail. Then we have the Fior di Sambuco here, all together. And then I'm gonna have the fresh lime, which is here, and I will go and straight completely squeeze inside. Beautiful. And voila. Now, mixing glass, we do, as we saw last time in the technique, we are using a carbonation. So at this stage, we don't want to have a much dilution, but we really want to make that super cold. And you can see here, our mixing glass already nice and cold. And I'll go down. And here we go to serve. Excellent. Now, this is what will look our cocktail. Again, this glass will really help us to have the full transparency. So that's very nice as a good gin and tonic style. So what we're gonna do now, I will put this back 1 second, and then it's time to garnish. Now, we will have a session where we dedicate, last time someone was asking me regarding some of the, how to garnish with the citrus. And we have a plenty of the, those tricks to really do it. But this is, one of those is very cool. Well, this is what we have prepared for you today, is something like this. So we call this our garnish, which is a cocktailzero citrus. I will put this one here. So you can see, and what we did here is actually using our citrus stamp. So we heat them up, and is working like that. Very simple. We will do a full demo next time for you when we do the citrus. But this is what we do. We do the peel, and then we really heat up this one, and we do the stamp, and this was the result. So is the cocktailzero stamp, or you can actually have on the other side. So it really works as a great tool to serving, and goes into the glass like that. And then you can actually see. Or either we put a small peg like this, and then it goes. My peg is gone. There you go. I will put it here. Maybe you guys can see clearly. Let me see. Yes, cocktailzero. There we go. So you guys can see better? Yes, that looks fantastic. So really, this is one of our favorite technique in terms of making a good cocktail. So that's the way it look. And then we can garnish. You saw in the picture, we normally put some other herbal, botanicals, can be rosemary, it can be mint, or it can be fresh thyme, really is up to you. Ooh, very nice. You can get the elderflower, very crispy. This style of gin really is super crispy and really works very well. So that is a no alcoholic. So that's our cocktailzero gin and tonic. Salute. Let me put this on the side for a moment, and then I will have our other cocktail, which will be served in Nick and Nora, or straight up, or martini style. So this is the glass we're looking, or coupe. So this is specific to the guys, our friend the Riddle. They designed this a nice style of Nick and Nora. So it gives a very beautiful feeling, and it's great because I really like certain cocktails straight up. What is the tricky part? When we do this at the school here, when we do the full session, we put them also in the freezer, so they come very cold. Because a good trick for a straight up cocktail that needs to be cold. So this is one of my favorite glass because it's small. So in 4 or 5 sips, you're done, and you can have one more. So really, and it stays cold. Otherwise, it gets warm very, very fast. So the other cocktail we'll do, and I'm showing you the recipe on the screen for you here on the graphic, is the, we call this the margarita, but we call the sparkling margarita. Remember at the beginning, we said that this is one of the cocktails that actually can have that feeling to be served also in a bit of a lightly carbonated, because it's actually the narrow day. You will hold some carbonation. This cocktail is super cool because we call the sparkling margarita. So we're gonna have a light tonic water style. So we'll have this one. Then we say a fresh lime, which I will have here. We go. I will put it here. And then what else we have? We have I think we have some droplets as well on the recipe. I think we have, here we go, some celery cuts. So really is very, very interesting, very grassy. You know, the margarita as a cocktail has the tequila. Tequila is agave made, so really citrus fresh, quite grassy. Some of them, they have a very high herbal tone. So I would like to replicate this in the herbal from the celery. Very, very refreshing, superb. So let me do this. This is and very interesting because we will shake the cocktail with the fresh lime. And I think on the recipe, we put around 20 milliliter, but again, it's up to you. I put 20 milliliter, which is in general is half of the lime will give you 15 to 20. So probably this one will be enough for the day. And then I will have the celery. This is a super powerful, very interesting bitter. One of my favorite to use, very important not to exceed the drops because it will go really, really a bit of too grassy. Then it's up to you guys how you want to match. Now, before I'm going to shake and finish this one, I will do a small garnish. Now, the garnish for this one, now what we have here is this. This is our garnish tray. We used this also last time when we did what we did the recipe. We had another recipe. Yes, we did a desert flower. That was it. So what we did is actually the rim. Last time we used the sumac, and this time I would like to have, instead of a classic salt for the margarita, because we always look to have different twist and different touch. So here I put some coconut. So coconut is the thing. Coconut and lime is one of the combinations that you really love it. And what we're gonna do, we will mix quick the herbal, so to extend, and then don't forget what we mentioned on our day, on first episode, second episode, we never shake when is with the carbonation. So what we do here, I will now add a bit of the light tonic style. So it really will quite light and salty in that way. And then we're going to serve in this one. Beautiful. The garnish for this, always we look at the contrast, so you can see this really, really looks fresh from this side and this coconut around. So the garnish, yeah, I think we saw the red currant, but I like also the seasonality. So since now we have so beautiful cherries around, when I went to the supermarket yesterday, I really found these fantastic cherries and I fell in love. So I said, why not? So let's do a small showcasing for you guys how to really garnish this like this with a beautiful cherry on top. And I will put it here for you guys to see better, very close. Yeah, you can really clearly see the nice cherry here and this coconut all the way around. So very elegant glass that really goes very well. So now is the time that I can actually try the cocktail. Ooh, I love the grassy flavors. And then when you're gonna bite on the cherry, this cherry is quite sweet. So always don't forget, salty, bitter, fresh, grassy, and the coconut really, really works. Very nice. So those are the two cocktails for today that we're showcasing in these different glassware. So one is a classic straight up style of cocktail, and this is the beautiful highball. So this is what we're really showcasing. And then I will say now, probably, Shanaz, do we have some questions for our lovely guest? I cannot hear you.
Now you can hear me, right?
Now I can hear you. Fantastic. Excellent.
Okay. So we have one from Gayatri. She says, why do we need to use bitters in cocktails?
Whoa, this is a very good question. Sorry, what's the name of the person asking the question?
Gayatri.
Gayatri, thank you very much. I really like that question. Well, I tell you, you see, especially in now bitters, it's not something new in the cocktail world. It's always been there forever. I mean, we have a trace of going back in the old days. So what is happening there? Bitters are concentration of a lot of herbs and botanicals. So really, using them by drops help us to balance. So it gives a bit of a character. So the bitter for us in a cocktail in a mixology style is about the seasoning, you know. So you know, when you touch, and you can, if you don't have a bitter, don't forget we live in a wonderful part of the world. The Middle East is great for you know, all the spices we have here, and especially, you know, to be very close to India and the Asian part. So the seasoning that's what it does. So the bitter is our seasoning in terms of when we're designing cocktails. I really like that question. Thank you.
Giovanni, this one is from me. I'd like you to give our viewers...
from you, okay.
Yes. I'd like you to give our viewers a few tips on how not to chip their glasses, because I think it's really important to look after your glassware.
Okay, that's a good question, very practical question. Now, as you saw here today, we are working on a rubber mat. So this one help us. Imagine I will remove these, and you can see if I'll put this one here. So if I remove these, it will work on the marble. So a good way to really not to chip the glass is, first of all, when we take them out of the glass washer, or when we really wash them by hand, always be gentle. And when you put them ups and down, don't put against really a surface that is harder, so a marble or a kitchen top or anything. Try to put a cloth. So a cloth will really help. And when you storage them in your cupboard, you know, put them a good distance. So if anything is moving or whatever, at least they don't really chip. And one thing also about taking care of a glassware, buy good glassware, because sometimes budget glassware, they chip very easy because the material is not good. But when you buy very high quality glass, they will not chip very easy. So this is a bit of a difference also. So sometimes, you know, they go in there, they touch it, they really chip. So Shanaz, always try to get on a good level of glassware, and so you don't have to really bother on chipping them. Yeah. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I switched off the mic so it won't echo, and then I need to put it back on.
Did I answer your question well?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I was listening to you.
There
are a few more questions, but we'll answer them by email. So
perfect.
You can sign off for now.
Fantastic. Okay. So before we say goodbye, and I think it's really cool to have a lot of questions there. What we just did today, and for the people they connect maybe halfway through, what we have here, we showcase the entire range of a glassware. So choosing the right glassware for your cocktail is extremely important. Why? For the reason we have, every cocktail has its own personality, has its own goal, really. So really, when we design a cocktail, we want them to be a great showcasing. And how we do that? You know, using different vessels, using different style. We saw also the way that we can substitute. This is a glassware already, but then we saw how we really using pretty much, I think, well, I still have my iced tea here that was a vase before. So using something like this really gives us a lot of creativity. So yes, there are boundaries. There are cocktails that need to be done in a fizzy style. Then we have them on the rocks. Then we have them as a straight up, so no ice serve. Then the flute. So really, we have the full range that we can work on. So very important. I like the question that you guys asked. So thank you very much. I will say from Mr. G and here in ICCA Dubai, thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Thank you, Giovanni. That was lovely, and I really enjoyed it. I'm sure our viewers enjoyed it and learned a lot too. And everybody, thank you very much for being with us, and hope to see you again with us next Tuesday. Over to you, Karun.
Thank you, Shanaz and Giovanni. Wow, that was an amazing session. A lot to learn today. Please note, you can access all of today's information on this class on the webinar section, on the handout section, where you can download all the recipes. And of course, an email will soon follow with the replay video of this session together with the handouts as well. Lastly, at ICCA Live, we plan to host several sessions such as these on a regular basis. And we request you to kindly take a quick time to filling out our survey to help enhance your experience. We look forward to seeing you for another exciting session on ICCA Live. Goodbye from all of us.
Ciao.